So welcome to EVERGREENOLIVIA TV, and this episode is very special. Today, on this episode, I am with Mr. Jojo Limpo, who is actually having an exhibit, a soul exhibit, dito sa Ghost Coffee. Without further ado, presenting Mr. Jojo Limpo. Yes.
Hello to everyone.
Share with us why the title of your series is Familia.
Actually, the show was inspired by family. I wanted to show images of happy images of family. It's actually a series that I created during lockdown, and what helped me survive lockdown was happy thoughts of family. Yes, it was actually dedicated to them. In fact, a lot of the images were taken from our own memories as a family growing up. Each one has a very different, it touches a different part of your emotions, but I guess, it's a difficult question. Because every time I started on a new one, on a new piece, I would put myself in that emotion and try to interpret that emotion into the painting.
Can you share this audience like why print and yeah, what's
Well, actually, I've been working with digital art for quite a while, so it was a natural medium for me to use. During lockdown, even if I wanted to do oil painting, there was no access to materials because we were on lockdown. So I used what was available, which is my laptop. So I did everything. I used vector drawing, so everything was hand drawn on the computer, and I ended up with a set of digital arts. And the most natural way to output it would be digital printing.
so digital printing also sa mga ang usual na alam natin pag sinabing digital printing, mga tarpaulin, seal screen. But this one, you visit this ghost coffee, what you will see is a different kind of quality na printing that would, how long will it last?
Over 100 years.
Okay, so, parang pera, no, it would actually last that long. So, pero when you did those pa, may mga hidden, ano ba doon, messages or images that something to, ponder with.
Actually, wala. Siguro, what I would want the viewer to feel is parang to leave them with or to invite them to look back at happier times. And with that, look forward to experiencing those happy times again. Kasi parang during lockdown, it was really depressing. So, what kept a lot of people going was happy thoughts.
Which one was your first partner as a series?
If I remember correctly, it was the mother and child, yung mag-ina, I think. I guess in the Philippines kasi, it's usually the mom who keeps the family together. Dads, well, the traditional families, dads usually go off to work, and the moms are left to take care of everything else.
You want to share about the colors? Kasi sa akin, what struck me most was your choice of colors.
The colors are very subtle. I guess it also reflects the mood. It's very comforting, very mellow. So I think that's the feeling I want to elicit from the viewer.
Para dun sa mga interested in tingin ng mga display nyo, like, how do they know exactly the numbers dun sa baba?
But if I were actually given a choice, I would have come up with more editions per piece. For the reason that I wanted to share my art with with more people. But what also came to mind was the value of the art piece. Because the lesser the number of editions, the more value each piece will have. And also, siguro the financial side of art, which a lot of people don't really see. Um, the kind of prints that I do are quite expensive to produce. They're called our archival prints, which use a special kind of printing and a special kind of paper, which is quite pricey. So if I were to, and you can't print it one by one. It has to be printed as a whole batch all together, so that the quality is consistent. So you can't print one today and another one tomorrow, and so if you decide on, let's say, I'll do 5 editions of this piece, you have to print it all together, and that's quite costly. So part of the decision was to see how many editions I could afford to print at one time.
So, with this, is this your first series ba? Or
Familia was my first series.
okay.
Um,
May upcoming series po ba kayo after Familia?
the current one here is Tonal Linear. It's actually my second my second series already.
Okay. Can you share lang why the second series is titled that way?
Tonal Linear, my second series, is a totally it's a totally different approach. I have a background in industrial drawing and also in fine arts, so I try to combine both. So it's a combination of straight edge lines and tonal values. Combination of my past experiences as an artist.
Favorite piece?
Favorite piece? Itay. Itay. Yeah.
I think parang, syempre medyo biased ako when I saw the artworks. Nakita ko yung motor.
Yeah. It's a shared passion. I have a passion for bikes and art as well. So it's a combination of both. I'm loving the experience of being back in fine arts because unlike working in the corporate world where you have deadlines, you have directions to follow, you have standards, you have so many things that limit your creativity. With fine arts, it's totally up to you. You come up with a concept, nobody dictates on you. You choose your own colors, you dictate your own timelines. So you're totally free. It's pure passion. It's very liberating. It's very liberating for me.
How did you find yourself?
Well, for me, I feel like if you have a passion for something, you can only suppress it for so long. Eventually, it will find its voice. It will try to find its voice. And like my working in the corporate world for such a long time, I try to suppress that wanting to get back into fine arts. But it was also an economic decision. So I always had in my mind that when I retire, I would go back into fine arts. But because of the pandemic, I had an early retirement, so to speak, because I had to find something to do during lockdown, and I guess it started from there.
So there's a restless heart in you, di ba?
Yeah, and probably part of that also is siguro in the Filipino culture. Well, during my time, in my generation, kids were discouraged to take fine arts because they were saying there's no money in art. So you have to find a real job, a real profession. So they were saying you can always paint when you're retired. So I guess although my parents were very encouraging, somehow that culture affected my earlier decisions. But I've always looked at painting as something I would retire into.
Is it okay to ask if Jojo Limpo is a pen name or a real name?
It's actually my real name. It's my nickname actually. Jojo's my nickname. Yes.
We
Yeah.
have Instagram,
My Instagram is Jojo Limpo Art, and same with Facebook.
same with Facebook.
All right. For those artists who are looking at embarking on a profession or a profession of in the fine arts, um, well, it's not going to be an easy road. But if you have a passion, a real passion for it, um, you have to start, uh, well, as they say, with a single step. You have to create your art and find a way to get it out there. Um, you'll always find people along the way who will be willing to help. Um, and you just have to be creative in that way too. A lot of artists fail to see the financial aspect of getting into the arts. It's not just about passion, although that is a big part of it. You also have to consider how much it takes to get your art out there. You also have to find a way to use new tools like social media to get your art across. So in that way, you have to really be creative in everything else. It's not just about creating art. People have to see your art also before they can actually appreciate it. So you just have to keep creative and follow your passionate heart.